media conference on that subject.
So Labor Party supporters in Western Sydney have been sold out by the inner city Labor Party. That's what's happened. I mean, Anthony Albanese and Tanya Plibersek and that whole crew that really seem to be running the Labor Party now are selling out Western Sydney Labor supporters. I mean, Chris Bowen is a Western Sydney MP. He's the alternative treasurer, and he can't stand up to Anthony Albanese and Mark Butler, the member of the left from South Australia, to ensure that this important project goes ahead. I mean, it's already going to cost, by the date of the election, some $20 million as a result of them delaying this project.
So the state government is not committed or denied the fact that $750,000 a day, they're not commenting, which is where the figures would come from. Are you absolutely certain that it is costing?
Well, that's my understanding. That's our understanding of that cost.
And just to add to that, it's cited in the exchange of letters between Environment Minister Hunt and his opposite number. In fact, it's a factor that the Commonwealth Environment Department has highlighted as a reason why approval should proceed. They've given their substantive advice that there's no reason why environmental approval cannot be given, and they've highlighted that it's good regulatory practice to provide approvals as quickly as possible, and they've specifically noted in the advice that's gone to the Minister that has been shared in full with his opposite number, the financial exposure of the New South Wales Government and the New South Wales taxpayer.
Labor are burning money on this project to fuel their chase for green votes in inner city Sydney. And they're doing that at the expense of Western Sydney residents. Now, yesterday I outlined again just how much Labor will drive us into deficit. Well, if it's not bad enough that they want to do that to the Commonwealth budget, they want to do it to the New South Wales state budget from a distance as well.
So what are these costs that have been incurred of $750,000 a day?
Well, it's under the contractual arrangements with the partners who are building the project. There's a risk allocation in terms of securing the environmental approval. But the key point is this, that the Commonwealth Environment Department has given advice to the Commonwealth Environment Minister that has been shared with his opposite number under the Caretaker Convention, that approval is in a position to be given, all the substantive environmental issues have been worked through, and Labor is refusing to give its agreement, and that is adding cost and holding up commencement of the very important Stage 2 of WestConnex, this vital project.
We just want to get on with it. The Australian people want to get on with it, and most importantly, Western Sydney residents want to get on with it. The only people who don't want to get on with WestConnex are Labor and the Greens. And so that's why it's important on Saturday that to see Western Sydney get the infrastructure it needs to vote for your Liberal candidates in all of those Western Sydney seats, and to send people like Chris Bowen a message, if you live in Western Sydney, that it's about time that other Western Sydney Labor MPs, Ed Husick and others, actually started standing up for Western Sydney residents rather than getting rolled every other day of the week by the inner city Labor Greens, who seem to be running the agenda for the Labor Party.
Mr Albanese did say on AM this morning that they were sent about 1,000 pages to go through. Was there a lot of documentation, and in fact it might be just an issue of trying to get through the paperwork?
No. No, these guys just don't want to support the project. We've seen this in other places. I mean, in Melbourne we had the East-West link, which the Greens forced the Labor Party into opposing. And that cost ultimately Victorian taxpayers over $1 billion not to build a road in compensation payments. So we've seen it repeated on project after project, and the people who will pay the price for this are New South Wales taxpayers who already are, and the people of Western Sydney, like in the electorates that Michael's seeking to represent and Yvonne is seeking to represent, and of course Alex represents up in the hills as well, and out with Russell Matheson out in Macarthur, Fiona Scott out there in Lindsay, and Ned Manoon out there in Werriwa. I mean, they're standing for getting on with the WestConnex, and Paul's keen to get on with the WestConnex. And if you vote for the Liberals on Saturday, that's exactly what you'll get. Thanks very much.